of time, so we've got a good chunk of time to take some of the questions that the audience have pre-submitted to us. The first being, do you understand and accept the science of anthropogenic climate change? Over to you, candidate Thompson. A punchy one.
Why do I get all the different?
Sorry, we'll stick with the 2 minute. Yeah.
I probably won't need to. It's interesting. I moved over and lived in Germany for 6 years, and coming from North Queensland and the mining and the coal and the gas and everything else, the transition was already there. They were already moving, and the house that I bought in the Black Forest region was very much there. We had wind farms on the hills, we had solar on the roofs, didn't work well in snow, and we had geothermal. But at that stage, a lot of what was going around was still sinking. So there were some villages there that had some sinkage, so they were still working through geothermal. So it was a very interesting process, but you know, at the moment, I think we're still in that transition period, and I think we've got to move it along, we've got to push it forward, but you can't go without one until we establish the other one fully. And I think we're moving there, and we're moving quickly, but we've got to put more pressure on the authorities to ensure that that happens.
Flag to me if you need the question again as we go along.
I agree with Troy. I feel in that it's man-made emissions, and this is what the problem we have got ozone layers that's depletion at a higher UV radiation. So obviously we have to cover our body to stop any skin cancer and things like that. We have to be careful. It's also waterborne diseases, diversity. Barrier reef is another area. We got chemicals and all that sort of thing going in there, and also the algae, toxic algae in the water. It's man-made, and we are accountable for that. So I feel that we should accept the science of anthropogenic climate change. Thank you.
Yes, I do accept the science around anthropogenic climate change. I did witness it firsthand. I believe it's the activities of humans that cause this change, and basically the use of fossil fuels. I witnessed it firsthand when I lived in Indonesia for 3 years. I was over there. My husband worked for the World Wildlife Fund in sustainable fisheries, and to see people still reliant so heavily on fossil fuels is very, very disheartening. And I think Australia is ahead of the game, but there is so much more that we need to do, and I believe that we can be a leader in this going forward. And the City Council needs to play its part in that. So yes, understand the concept behind it, and willing to work towards not just a greener city, country, and a world. Thank you.
Yes, first of all, I'd like to apologise. I just didn't understand what that word was. But the man-made climate change itself is one of the things that's causing all these problems, especially with our increase of temperatures and our projections of increasing in temperature. And I currently believe that our targets that we've got set in the government at this time are very good targets, and as the mayor of this city, I would adhere to those targets completely, because I think that we've all seen what's gone on with man-made climate change. Increase in temperatures, number one; expansion of the oceans are number two, and also the amount of cyclones and fires that are occurring. So the targets that we've got set, as a councillor and a mayor, I would accept those that the federal government has put on. Thank you.
Folks, I've always found it quite amazing. I'm just coming back from Vietnam and Tibet this Christmas, and that is having to go through China to get to Tibet, is that I say to people, you're all so much more progressive because everybody's riding their bicycle. But of course, they too want a car. So what's going to occur on the planet when indeed Northern Asia as well, everybody has a car. And I could see the difference even in 2 years in Hanoi, because now these little tiny Japanese cars are very, very popular. And so the pollution that was occurring in Hanoi across the lake had literally quadrupled even in 2 years. So it is necessary. And I think Townsville should be a walkable city. It should be safe. We should have lighting. We have the best climate in the world. Out wobbleboarding every day, there's one person per car, and it's crazy. You know, part of having a good public transport system is a part of that, so that people, my parents live in Bluewater, and they can't even get to the city. My father's failing eyes, he's a bit worried, but they can't catch a bus from the northern beaches. Our public transport system is a mess. And I'm sorry, David, I love my city too, and I think it should be the most progressive, dynamic, tropical city in the world. But the fact is, the last 10 years, not a lot's been done, and that's based on 5,000 people filling those books. So folks, I just want to say, if you'd like to see me as your mayor, you need to tell 20 people, because I don't have $50,000, and they're chopping down my aunt and uncle funded $25 boards. Tell 20 people, because this is a grassroots movement, and we are spreading the word that we want change in our city. Action.
Yes, I understand the concept, and I think Townsville is in a unique opportunity as the largest city in Northern Australia, and with the potential unlimited as to what we can achieve, to prove to state government and to our federal government what is it that we can do to make a contribution. There's lots we can't do in a rural city in northern Queensland, but there's also a lot we can do to show our state and federal governments that we can lead Northern Australia in those sorts of strategies to address climate change and to make our contribution. So I would be using those resources we all talked about to put a really strong plan and make a really strong representation to state and federal governments that we can stand up as the biggest city, the largest city, and the most progressive city in North Australia.
Wow.
Thank you, candidate. The next question